so siege abilities. So sieges, if anyone like doesn't know, so sieges are your um, so let's say Denny, you were working your butt off and you really hate this castle or this node. You know, they're just a bunch of, meanies there and you want to take them on. So you go and you do this quest and you've worked your butt off and you get this scroll. And what this scroll does is it enables you to do a siege on that node. And sieges are 250 people versus 250 people. They're trying to get at 500 versus 500. And what it'll do is once you enable that, the server will find an average height, like the peak, like a peak day and a peak time where the most people are online on that server, and there'll be a sign up to defend and a sign up to attack, and thus these sieges, and that's what these siege abilities come from. And if a siege is successful, like the actual nodes themselves are going to be really destructible. So if a siege is successful, you can go and you'll be looting materials. I mean, it's pretty much going to change. If it's a metropolis, I mean, it's going to be a huge change on the server. And what's cool is that's a different change than on another server, which, that node is still there and they're having fun, but nodes are also, dependent upon the actual player base himself. Like I said.
At our Metropolis node, everybody will be destroyed, burning, and crying and screaming.
Oh, yeah. So, let's see here. So, yeah, siege abilities. 8 players of the same primary archetype can band together to create monumental effects during a siege. The classes will need to be in the same group or raid. These are the types of systems that we want to put into place where groups of single-player archetypes can come together to summon these types of effects that play off what the identity of the archetype is. Summoner, so this is cool. Summoners can collaborate to summon larger summons, such as golems. A siege summon will have an incremental size based on the number of summoners participating in that summon activity with a maximum of 8. So it sounds like you get 8 of them, and you could summon a gigantic golem that'll just go and attack the city. That's cool.
It'd be like Godzilla.
Right. Go! And just the ability of summoning something like that is just awesome. The number of summoners participating in the summon will determine its overall size. All summoners must be in the same party, and a party leader must be a summoner. The party leader initiates the summon and then takes control of it. Once summoned, the party leader cannot be changed. If the party disbands, the summon ends. This will be a grace period to handle disconnects. The party may also contain non-summoners. It does not have to just be summoners, but it has to be party lead by a summoner who, with other summoners in it. Tanks, it looks like if 8 tank archetypes, each of one of them summon wall ability, it might construct a larger wall that can divide 2 raids in a moment and would require damage and blocking skills and abilities for a momentary lapse of battle between the other 2 raids. Healing skills, these kind of seem like, yeah, those are the same thing. Yeah, up to 3 targets. Yeah, so those are all the same. Oh, healing skills. Okay, that's just healing skills. So right now, I thought that was combined with siege abilities. But yeah, so healing skills are, this is separate. Yeah, so you just have 4 healing skills right now.
And I agree, Debbie. I need a time machine too.
Right. Yeah, I could take a time machine for like 6 months from now. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I'll just teleport you.
Right. Just kind of looking here. Okay, so your ultimate skills, this is what we were talking about earlier. These are your 80 focus things. So if you ever see focus is at 80, focus at 80, focus is 80. These are your ultimate skill, your ultimate skills. Can be used when enough focus has been accumulated from using the weapon used combo system. Okay, so that's actually how I do it. So weapon used combo. So you have to actually use your weapons to get focus. So we already kind of went through those originally. I think out of all these, to be honest, the Hail of Arrows is pretty cool, but the Quake is pretty cool too. I would have to see the animations to really choose my favorite, though. I want to know what the
Quake
summoner.
is mine.
Right. I want to know what the summoner. The summoner will be probably my class. Will probably be my first class already, because I love my pet classes. All right, Missy, you do utility skills.
All right. A utility skill is a non-combat skill that interacts with the environment. Utility skills lend themselves towards how classes navigate and deal with hazards in the world. Different classes excel at different skills. All classes will have maneuverability, traversal, utility abilities. There will be a grappling hook utility skill or item. Classes will have utility abilities such as detecting traps and other hazards. For example, the mage's detection spell casts light and reveals magical explosive hazards. Certain classes are able to climb parkour in certain areas. Climbing parkour ability is not freeform and will likely be restricted to certain quests, locations, or objects. Certain classes, such as rogues, will have stealth abilities. Rogues may also have a spyglass utility skill. We don't just have the approach of your class being reflected in your combat abilities, but also there are utility abilities that certain classes have that other classes don't have. So that's kind of cool, parkour abilities. So these skills, I don't know if, I guess these are all Apocalypse, the first four here, which is no longer relevant. I don't know. These are all, a lot of these look to be the mage utility skills. So you have family summon, long duration cast, 30 seconds to a minute with an approximate 30-minute cooldown that slowly summons each of your family members to your location, up to 8 members. Players cannot be summoned in the following cases: while in combat, if they are corrupted, or if they are engaged in an event such as node wars, guild wars, sieges, arenas, or participation in the caravan system. If they have mats, gatherables, or certs in their inventory. This will be tested in Alpha 2. Yes, I will be in that one. So we have Force Field. Eats mana based on flight, height, and duration. Mitigates incoming damage by eating mana at a high consumption. Has mixed utility and defensive application. Harvest. The Harvest skill allows players to gather resources. The skill displays a green circle. Placing the green circle over the resource will start the keystroke skill. If the player hits the Harvest skill whilst in the red area, they can crit on their harvest. Mage's Detection. We went through that one before. Reveals secret passages and magically hidden terrain around you. And that casts light and reveals magical explosive hazard. Pathfinding. Reveals corrupted player locations on the bounty hunter's map.
Woot.
Activating this ability will flag the bounty hunter for combat only to corrupted players for a period of 1 hour from the time of activation. The pathfinding ability can be toggled on or off. The accuracy of the pathfinding skill is determined by a player's progression in the bounty hunter system. Right, and same, let's just repeat it again. So perception, use this skill to detect threats within range of your perception. Stealth, this does not render a player completely invisible. Instead, there will be indicators that can help players feel out where stealth individuals may be. And track, use the skill to show nearby tracks leading to unknown adventures, and that's your ranger skill.
Yep. And if you guys are asking about corrupted players, so corrupted players, this is their in-game system where if it's like their in-game griefing system. So if Missy just keeps on killing people over and over and over again, and just keeps camping the body, you know, like she'll just start getting more corrupted. And if you get too corrupted, you actually become weaker, you're easier to kill, but you also start dropping stuff out of your bags. So if you just keep going on and on and on, you know, and like I said, the bounty hunter map. So people can actually become bounty hunters and can go and kill the griefers. So it'll be a weird, not weird, but it'll be an interesting thing to watch. Because you know there's
It's
gonna
great
be,
because it's like the cops, right? Your bounty hunter's a cop, and if you're bad and
yeah,
you're beating up other people's and bullying them, then the cops are going to come and they're going to kill you.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty cool that they put that actually in there. Like, you know, it's not gonna be, oh, no, it's not gonna be a tattletale program. You know, it's gonna be a, you know, you've done too much crap, and now everyone's going to kill you. Yep.
There's just going to be a class of people waiting around that have the job as bounty hunters coming to kick your ass.
Yep. That'll be cool. I'm excited for it. All right, elemental skills. Okay. The idea behind magic is you're manipulating the elements. They don't just have to be fire, ice, water, and air. They can be darkness, they can be light, they can be planar, a lot of different types of elemental influences. So that's pretty cool. Arc lightning, which, like I said, that's for your mage. Elemental passive says it's a mage. Now this flameline for rangers, I think that's actually going to be pretty cool, because you can almost kind of like, oh, they're retreating, and then you send that flame arrow and it makes a wall of fire and they have to run through it. Especially if you get to rank 3, they'll get a burning dot on them as they run through. That could even be a kiting aspect for like ads in a dungeon. Tank can pull them through the flames. So what do you think? Fast travel, is it as needed or is it fine like Ash just wanted to handle it? You know, coming from Final Fantasy 14, where you teleport everywhere. This is something too, Chris, if you're here too, I want you to answer this. And Poto, like I said, we're kind of, and Missy as well, because we've all played Final Fantasy 14. And that's just always just, oh, I gotta go here, so I teleport. But then you also have like World of Warcraft, where, I mean, there's teleports, but there's a lot of also distance traveling. BDO, there's a lot of distance traveling. Today on my boat, I had to go all the way across the map, and it was probably 30-40 minutes of the boat getting from that to that. So
either way, it's long. Boat, horse, and even the air balloon is not quick either. So
yeah.
any option you take, that takes you a long time.
You know, to be honest, answer your question, I don't think fast travel, you know, needs to be, you know, I think if your mount is quick enough, and it depends on, you know, like what Missy was kind of saying earlier was, you know, because your node, you know, you're trying to build up your node, are you really going to be traveling all that much? Like, are you going to literally go from one side of the map to the other side of the map? Is there going to be a need for that? Will be there quests that do that? Will there be, you know, different zones? Because the node, the zone of influence area, if the node levels up, the area itself also levels up too. So, you know, that zone won't always be a 1 through 10 zone. It could end up being like a 30 through 40 zone. So I don't think there needs to be fast travel, but I also don't think it needs to take you half a day to get from one side to the other side.
And I don't know what the difference is going to be between a mount and your caravan. So your mount may be slower, but your caravan may be faster.
So caravans is going to be from node to node. Like, it's going to be like, I don't think it's going to be something that you personally drive around, but maybe I'm wrong. As far as I know, caravans are a game aspect where you're transporting goods. It's not going to be like an actual wagon, like a carriage.
Well, it says if they are engaged. So you missed go back, there's this very interesting thing that I read about family summoning, which is under the utility skills. So I'll reread that. Long duration cast with an approximate 30-minute cooldown that slowly summons each of your family members to your location. Up to 8 members. Players cannot be summoned in the following cases: while in combat, if they are corrupted, or if they are engaged in events such as node wars, guild wars, sieges, arenas, or participation in the caravan system. So it makes me think that you are with your caravan.
Well, yeah.
Because you can't summon somebody who's got their caravan en route because you're in the caravan progression. So that's what makes me wonder if your caravan route, like if you take your caravan to another node or to somewhere else, because it might be easier to just go to another node. Like, I'm not sure if you have to be transporting things to be in a caravan.
Well, I know when you're doing a caravan, unless it's different, but as far as I know about caravans is there's going to be a quest. You take upon that quest. It's like defend the caravan. And there's also going to be another quest on the other side of that says destroy the caravan. So it's going to be a protecting, just like Final Fantasy, you have those little defensive shields that you have to follow all the way through the zone practically. That's what the caravan system to me is. What it's sounding like. So
the caravans can transfer goods for more than one player too. So I could transport your goods too.
Yep.
But I don't think you'd want me to. I think I'd rather have you transport my goods.
Right.
For PvP.
PvP. That's right. If I feel that the world gives me something, whether it's beautiful. No, I definitely agree with you, Denny. I will say this, going way back in my past for World of Warcraft, I loved the world so much in that game that I would fly all the way down to Booty Bay, and then I would get on my ground mount, and I'd ride all the way to the Ghostlands, just because I loved riding through each zone, seeing the changes, hearing the music. And so far, what I can see of the Ashes of Creation, and they said it's going to be a pretty big map. I'm not sure of the dimensions. That series is actually coming up here in a couple of weeks, actually, to be honest. We're going to be doing a world environment thing. A lot of videos, too, so it'll be really cool to watch those.
Plus, I don't think you want to be fast traveling, because the whole point is there's all sorts of these different classes that are detecting things. You're traveling out in the world, I'm discovering as a mage, hidden passages. The rangers finding tracks. You're not going to find that if you're like hopping from place to place.
Yeah.
So I think the whole idea of it is for you to slowly navigate in order to find all the interesting little hidden kind of things that are going to happen.
Yeah. And to build on to that, Steven already said that their philosophy of the game is risk versus reward. And the risk of stepping out of your comfort node, not zone, and going adventuring, yep, is it has like the weight of it going, like you're gonna have to make sure your character is set and good to go, while you're out in the world, because it's either you have to go all the way back to your node, or you just have to push forward. So that decision of going out into the world needs to matter, versus like what Missy said, adventures, finding hidden secrets, but also just what the world is throwing at you at the time. And I know this is one thing that we haven't gone into yet, but like there's going to be seasons in this game, so there's going to be summer, fall, winter, spring. So if it's winter time and you go out, who's to say they don't have a cold debuff? Like, you have to actually stop and build a fire, or you'll freeze to death. It'd be cool if they did that. People would complain though about it. I don't want that. But it brings realism.
We want something realistic.
Yep.
But when it comes right down to it, I don't like that.
Yep. Let's see. So we already kind of went through other elemental things. Ice Prison, Fame Line, Ice Sheet, Implosion, Quake.